So I'm a petroleum engineer working at Chevron. So what that basically means is I build a little 3D model of the reservoir that I'm working on now to understand where's the gas, where's the water, how is everything going to move together when you're producing with a well. And the main deliverables is trying to understand how much gas we've got underground, how much we're going to be able to produce, and how fast we can produce it. So basically I'm just sharing my own personal STEM journey, which started in South Africa and a bit of homeschooling, and then on to Curtin University for a Bachelor of Engineering, and then a little bit about what I do at Chevron. So those are the subjects that I took, and they were really good for getting into engineering, so I bolded the ones that led to an engineering pathway. But they're also really great subjects to get into most Bachelor of Science degrees. Some of the stuff that you can do at university. So did you guys know that in addition to going and learning to do, be a doctor or engineer or a lawyer or whatever you're at university for, they also run a lot of programs, and some of them are international? Yeah? So this is me in Shanghai at a power generation plant standing next to a compressor. And that's me in Peru just about to go into a mine. So they put us on this little car and we were going down these pathways, and it was like bends and hills. It was like a roller coaster, but like a real life roller coaster. And you didn't know what was around the bend. It was really cool. The great thing about traveling, in addition to seeing cool stuff that you don't see at Perth, is you get to meet people from different backgrounds and you get to experience different cultures. And if you wanted to work in a company that's going to have people from all across the world, that's a really useful skill to have. So at Chevron, I'd say at least half, probably more than half of the people that weren't born in Australia. And there's a lot of people that speak a lot of different languages and have a lot of different cultural backgrounds. And coming from different cultural backgrounds generally means that you think slightly differently. And having a lot of people that think differently means that you have more ideas on the table and you can come up with a better solution. And do you guys think that men and women or girls and boys think exactly the same? Usually, no, they don't. And that's one of the reasons why they're trying to get more women into the engineering field. So at the moment, there's not a whole lot of them. But yeah, you bring that different perspective, and that's something that's quite highly sought after. And like I said, it could be like a cultural thing, it could be a gender thing, or it could just be that you studied maybe something that was a little bit different. Engineering tends to be mathematical. I don't do the heavy maths like integration and differentiation, but a lot of what I do is numbers based. So you have to like that, and you have to like physics as well for what I do. But that's something that most people that go through engineering training at a university have. The more important thing, I think, is to focus as well on your people skills, because being able to work well in a team and being able to communicate well is just as important. And that's something that a lot of engineers have to work on when they get to work, because they have spent so much time just thinking about the theory of what they need to do, they haven't thought about, well, how am I going to talk to somebody else that has another part of the puzzle, right? Because you don't know everything. And the more people you know, the more people you can talk to, and the more information you have at the end of the day. So my advice to you guys would be really pay attention in school, even if it's something that you don't particularly enjoy and you can't quite see how that's going to connect with what you want to do one day. A lot of the knowledge and a lot of the skills you learn actually go on to build other skills and can be quite useful in the future. And it is a lot easier to do it right the first time than to try to go back afterwards when you're trying to do new stuff as well. And being an independent learner is just such a useful skill for you as a student, and especially if you progress to university studies, but also for when you finish uni. No matter what job you have, probably they're not going to always give you work that somebody's already done before and knows how to do, right? Sometimes you're going to get something that's brand new and nobody knows how to do it. And that's half the fun. And then you need to be an independent learner and go and find the information yourself. So as you start to get more and more homework, especially in year 11 and year 12, it's a really good opportunity to learn to manage your time and to learn from written sources as well as from somebody talking to you. The best thing about my job is it's quite creative. So it is mathematical, it's a bit of physics, but it's mostly creative problem solving. So when I get a problem, it won't be something that my boss knows exactly how to solve it. I'll figure that out for myself, and I really enjoy that. Well, math is really important, obviously if you want to forecast how much you have of something, that is at the end of the day a numbers thing, and physics as well, trying to understand how something works physically. You have to understand how gravity is going to affect your different fluids, because the different fluids have different weights. So how's that going to work? How does pressure work? Obviously, if you've got an area of low pressure, then things will try to move that way to fill that pressure gap, essentially, and that's a big part of what we do. And chemical engineering side of it, chemistry, understanding how the different fluids will react with each other and how their properties change as they undergo pressure changes. That's really important as well, because if you have liquids dropping out because your gas is changing from a gas to a liquid because your pressure and your temperature conditions have changed, then that can be a bit tricky if you haven't designed to handle liquids as well. So yeah, I mean, it uses the whole range of the STEM subjects, I think. So my main advice to high school students would be, do your STEM school subjects and do them well. Some of the stuff can seem a bit boring when you're just starting out and you're learning those fundamental principles, because it can be quite hard to see how that ties into the real world and real jobs and why that's useful. But stick with it, because it gets a lot more interesting, and the further you go, the more interesting it gets. And it opens a lot of doors. So even if you get to the end of year 12 and you've done STEM subjects and you realize, this isn't what I want to do, there's very little that you can't do with that STEM background. And even if you're not going to have a predominantly STEM career, most careers also still utilize those STEM skills in one way or another.